This is Chip Roy. And this is, by the way, this is fucking footage from like a year ago, right? This is pre-Title 42 footage. This is how fucked
Have they
up Fox
actually been called out for this though? Like, I know I've seen it on Twitter. I know I've seen it in other places, but I haven't seen an
on
actual
air,
mainstream.
Never.
You know.
I mean, I would love to see, like, the only one who could do it is like Jessica Tarlov. Yeah. Tarlov. Yeah. She could literally say, you know, if our network would use updated footage from the border every day instead of running, you know, clip reels of the worst moments from the last 7 years, right. Some of it from 2020 to scare people, it'd be nice, whatever. But this is about the border bill, and in particular, this is so fucking them. Look at this. This is the title of it. Dead on Arrival? ? Chip Roy breaks down what the border bill may look like. These motherfuckers.
That seems to be like a term that they got straight down from the top. Dead on arrival, because I heard it from the top, and then everybody since then has been using the same verbiage, calling it dead on arrival. Where it's like Donald Trump was like, all right, if call it dead on arrival, say
because it sounds butch.
It sounds finite. You know, it sounds like it's finished. It's you know, they've already decided basically.
Yeah, I mean, the Republican Party is always like doing masculine, you know, compensation, like Lindsey Graham in a cold locker room, and like I don't know.
Or Ron DeSantis when he's talking about shooting people stone cold dead at the border.
Right. Yeah. And well, that's what Trump means when he's like, no third world country would have this. I'm like, yeah, that's why they're a third world country. That's what makes them a third world country. It's because they would slaughter people at the border. That's kind of the sign that you're in a failed state. That's why it's a shitty country. That's why we call them third world country, because we don't act like that. That's why we have businesses that succeed and families that grow up and raise their kids well and all that shit.
Why is it coming to this hugely successful country after one of the worst pandemics in mankind? You know,
can't imagine. Right, so let's see what he says.
Chip Roy right now, the House Freedom Caucus Policy Chair, House Judiciary Committee, House Budget Committee. He's on a lot of important committees. So, Congressman, what do you...
Which is, by the way, because of the leverage.
He's not a lot of important committees.
He's not a lot of these committees. He is. It's because they're all starfuckers over there, and they're afraid of, you know, since McCarthy, you know, his little ramshackle... like Mean Girls election that he had, they had to hand shit out to the top 4 people in the Freedom Caucus who were the biggest pricks in there, and Chip Roy was one of them. And he used to work for Ted Cruz.
Isn't he one of the guys that's been going around because he's upset that they have nothing to tout to their constituents?
He's the dude who said, give me one thing, which would be this fucking border bill.
Make of this, the governors who are now pitching in to help Governor Abbott in Texas any way they can.
Neil, great to be on. And yeah, it's super to have the support from these governors across the country.
It is super. You know what? I take it back. That's a good word for him to use. It's super. It's just...
It's kind of like outrageous, you know, when somebody says super, they don't mean
it. Super. And by the way, does he just like walk into Supercuts and say, give me the super villain? Can you make me look like the heel villain in an old episode of The Hulk? Somebody that Bill Bixby throws through a fucking window?
These 25, right, that have offered their at least verbal support to Governor Abbott, who is doing a great job.
Verbal support.
Right.
Really?
I was just going to say bullshit.
Verbal. That's what you're looking for? Verbal support. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Why don't they just
We're gonna coach him. We're gonna go down the border and we'll fucking encourage him.
Yeah,
with words of encouragement.
No reach around, no shoulder massage. You're just gonna call him up and go, "Hey, keep doing what you're doing. I'll just stay over here." Yeah. What am I doing? I'm writing your political obituary. Fuck you. Bye.
Trying to stand in the breach when the federal government is refusing to do.
Eagle Pass, Texas. Oh my God, look at this invasion. They're piggybacking. There's literally this guy. There's a 2-headed Mexican monster crossing the border. Oh, that's a guy with a kid on his shoulder.
Listen, if I've ever seen a regiment, a platoon of military-aged males coming to do harm to a country, that's it right there.
This is clearly the Guatemalan equivalent of Boko Haram. You know what I mean?
The Humvees must be just behind them.
Yeah, they don't. Fox won't even show the footage of the Customs and Border Patrol running for their lives, kicking up dust this way.
Imagine the fucking United States afraid of an invasion that may come on foot.
From people in sneakers, right? And Donald Trump is like, "It's an invasion. I mean, what do you call this but an invasion? We need 50 cows mounted on the hepata."
You wonder why the world's laughing at us. Are they really scared of those people with babies on their backs? Just looking for fucking, some work.
They're like, and all the other leaders in the world are like, wait a minute, they got 9 million unfilled jobs, most of them manual labor and like medical care nurses and fucking janitors and cleaners and shit like that, and they don't want people who speak the language who are willing to walk thousands of miles to get to the country. Jesus Christ.
It's job.
It's always the ones with the little pink roller suitcases out of the
That's what does. Yeah, absolutely.
There's obviously a friend of mine, as we've
also, if you'll notice, access road. Also, by the way, there is no wall in Eagle Pass. There's no wall at Eagle Pass. That's just for the record. Trump's wall was not built around Eagle Pass. There's a river, so they're like, it's a natural barrier, so we have other shit, so we don't need to build the wall there.
Which was a thought process used on many parts of the border, where it was just inaccessible land that crazy people wouldn't even traverse.
Until Trump wanted more patrols, so what'd they have to do? They created a fucking road. What happens when you create a fucking road? It's now passable. Once you get to the other side, you can fucking...
I mean, at least destroy it after. You can do something to it.
Put like those little things they throw in the water to like wave breakers, the concrete things or whatever, just stagger them out.
Right. Talked about before. Great that he is sending almost 1,000. I think it's
Stop the invasion. He's from Jacksonville, fucking Florida. Jesus Christ.
The funny thing is they don't know that Fox is showing this like footage of just normal humans. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know how stupid they fucking look. And
I think Fox that's why we have to salute
people at all.
That's right. We got to salute. We got to salute the resistance in the booth at Fox, who is like the biggest anti-Fox fucking activists in the world work in the booth.
They they'll infiltrated. They have already infiltrated RSBN too, because the night of Trump's what do you call it, town hall, where he's sitting fucking half on the stool, half off the stool.
Right.
They was doing the same thing. They were showing clips of just little kids, mothers and parents kind of hanging out on, just looking for
like women with the little, like a toddler going up the stairs to an airplane. Like, we don't even know where these airplanes are going.
We're losing our country here. These people, they're coming in, they're sick. Everybody's dying. They got guns.
Right. Well, again, there's a lot of Texan dudes, I suppose, who are afraid of getting super gonorrhea from, in the brothels of Texas or something because of Chris Cross.
One of the sexually transmitted diseases on the rise in the United States.
Syphilis.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we know who patient zero is, though. The other. Just Trump. It all comes from they found the spread is coming from the omelet bar at Mar-a-Lago.
That's still one of the stranger things, though, that I've seen happen to Trump. That I just don't have an explanation for what the hell is on his hands, because I watch him all the time. I see every fucking time he talks. He's never once I've seen had any marks, lesions, or blisters or what it looked like on his hands. I saw him talk that day. He didn't have enough time to do anything really. Yeah, it's just strange. And, even if it is a medical thing, like I said, he spoke earlier in the day, didn't have anything in his hands, and I don't know any fucking medical disease or infection that comes and goes
that quickly. Yeah, well, that's why a lot of people thought it was red pen, that he was just fucking around. He was making notes in court, and it actually just made enough of it that looked pretty gnarly. And his skin's kind of dry anyway, so the two of them together, it would work out.
This is a black shoppy, right? Like he's a black shoppy guy.
Not necessarily. And he's, he threw papers at the people at Kaplan given the deposition and E. Jean Carroll at Mar-a-Lago when he found out that the people at Mar-a-Lago provided the E. Jean Carroll's legal team with lunch. He threw all the paperwork at them and stormed out of the room and yelled at Alina Habba for feeding them, which is fucking hilarious. And he came back and was like, how are the sandwiches? And she's like, actually, I just had a banana. I don't really eat that much when I'm giving depositions. And he's like, well, I told them to make you really bad sandwiches, but they make really good sandwiches here, so they didn't do it. Or like, so you missed out or something.
Such a petty motherfucker.
Oh my God, what a fucking child. But the other thing too is like, that that motherfucker went, let me spit in their food. Where's their food? I'll spit in it. He's like that. Like, there's no fucking way I'm eating anything that he was.
No, he had somebody else do it. He would never do it himself, right? He'd fucking
it grosses him out.
Right, exactly. He wouldn't even.
Yeah, but the problem is he'd make Alina Habba do it, but he'd eat her spit. So, right, most people would eat her spit.
Well, he's not going to have the chance anymore, I guess, according to reports.
What, is he going to cut her loose?
I don't know. I mean, the thing everybody's
mad
on is what in his statement he said our team is looking for new representation for the appeals. So everybody, the whole speculation is Alina Habba like part of that existing team, and they're just looking for somebody else because in law, the way law works, there's specific lawyers that do specific jobs. Some do the appellate courts, some do defense represent. They're all different sectors. So
you're
from
telling
what
me
I've read, appellate courts have a lot more paperwork involved, so that's why there's a lot more.
Well, and also
whereas and go ahead, the Joe Tacopina thing where he quit just because he represented him on his last appeal. So the timing of him quitting may suggest that he didn't want to represent Donald Trump on this appeal, knowing that he was going to lose his case.
That he get rolled over into this shit. Also, I think Alina Habba being the the spokesmodel for his legal team and not the deepest thinker in the crowd, and so to avoid her making any like delegate all the legal prep stuff to somebody else and let her just make arguments. Don't let her anywhere near the fucking paperwork again, or you'll never get a jury trial again. Which the irony is you might not.
She'll go back to being the TV lawyer. She'll have all the talking points on Fox News and OAN and Newsmax, and that'll be her.
Walking around Mar-a-Lago in a bathing suit, which is like there are a bunch of pictures online of her doing that now because everybody's like, this is Trump's lawyer. Jealous much? And I'm like, no, you dumb motherfucker. I'd rather my lawyer look like Gollum if they know their fucking business. That's what you get.
I mean, I do have to say it's rather unfortunate that she turned out to be such an idiot.
No, it's disappointing. It just proves that anybody can be ugly.
Maybe 800 or 900 of the National Guard and then 100 of their own state guard. That's actually a change. That's a big difference. These are not your traditional National Guard guys. This is your local state guard in Florida. So he's trying to send resources to help. We need that in Texas.
No, you don't. They've had Operation Lone Star for a couple of years now. It's been a fucking waste of time. They don't ever end up doing anything. They're not. The only time they ever.
Greg Abbott's gotten a ridiculous amount of money.
Well, that's exactly it. He's patching holes in his fucking budget with this complaint because the majority of the crossings that they've had issues with over the last 2 years, especially have all happened in Arizona. Eagle Pass is one of the few Texas places, but he's trying to draw attention to that so that he can get more federal money because again, Texas backfills all of their law enforcement budget with federal dollars. So they basically pay for, they're like, no, our sheriffs always have to deal with migrants, even if they're way up in the fucking north of the state.
Right.
If they manage to slip by this person and go through here or whatever, by the time they get to the top of the state, before they become Arkansas's problem or some shit, they are ours. So therefore, the federal government needs to give us border funds to the top of our fucking state. And that's part of why a lot of these Republican governors are saying, every state's a border state. Let me explain. That is a budgetary boondoggle. What they're saying is we need homeland security funds so we can backfill and not, instead of having to give our cops and our sheriffs and our state police and all that stuff a raise, we're going to outsource that raise to the federal taxpayer instead of us having to pay for it because we don't have the budget for it because we're a teeny little fucking state and we spend all of our fucking money on shit-ass tourism or tax breaks for oil and gas drillers.
Yeah. It's like a state faking that they had a hurricane and then putting in for federal relief.
It's exactly It's like Washington State saying, look, we're on the ocean. We should get the same hurricane funds that Florida gets. Because
look at how bad the salt eats my car.
That's right. That's right.
But it's great to see the result where we're seeing the.
Come down here. Get down here, you invading teenage boy. You're going to hurt yourself.
AK and your rocket launcher and jump.
Yes, right. Drop your weapons, and by that I mean the Capri Sun you were drinking that you were given to by an NGO, and
the ramen noodles.
And when you jump down, try not to land on our stock market, which is 38,519 points. Don't jump. You might land on the NASDAQ.
You might land on Larry Kudlow talking
That's
shit
right.
about the
That's right. And it's not as soft as it was under Trump. You might have been able to jump and land on it where it was cushy.
It's a lot higher, so it's less of a jump now.
That's right.
Less of a jump.
Oh, what a fucking asshole. And the video, like I said, the resistance is amazing in the Fox newsroom. Because look at this fucking footage. Think of all the footage they have backdated and wherever. Think of the shit that they must have. They've got to have, you know that one dude who was like Middle Eastern and he's like saying, you don't know my name, but you will know my new name very soon, which is clearly like a fucking poser asshole who got arrested, by the way, and was like, I'm going to sneak in the country and blow it to smithereens. You know, you cannot stop me, whatever.
Well, the scenes of the, when they were under the bridge there, when they were congregating under the bridge.
Right.
For a long, like that, like those scenes would definitely can affect some people if you
some
see
voters.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This, on the other hand, no. Like,
yeah, right,
not...
right. You're exactly right, and they do it consistently to these people that come on and try to make you so afraid of the border. And what they show is just not. It's just
not going to do it.
Life happening. It's the same shit that's been happening for decades at the southern border. You know what I mean?
The only person.
Situations. That's all. They're on a new fucking they're on a new trailer that wasn't there 2 years ago. Now they're jumping off that. You know, it's like,
yeah. And then look at like the only person who would be freaked out by this shot is Roseanne, who would be like, oh my God, they're keeping the Biden administration is eating children and they're keeping them in containers and they've got so many of them because their appetite is so strong. They're overflowing with children. Jesus Christ.
These Border Patrol agents don't seem too distressed. Kind of talk. It looks like they're talking in a normal voice. They don't have their guns out.
No,
they're not pointing weapons.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Like just assholes. Okay.
Numbers that have now plummeted. I think we're now down to like 200 a day.
Uh-huh. Gee, you think that's because of a bunch
10,000. Yeah.
It was yeah. Well, it's because of Biden working with the Mexican government and making them apply something that, like, I said this back when Trump was talking about 28,000 people on our border, right? Remember, that was the whole thing. That was for construction, by the way. So they made them basically guard the construction and shit while we were building, and they moved those people along, and they were in cycles. It wasn't all 28,000 at once. It's just a fucking lie. But Biden was like, if you're going to put troops somewhere, respectfully, since Mexico's our biggest trading partner, and not a lot of Mexicans are coming to the United States for work, certainly not like they used to, because the job market in Mexico is improving. You need to put these folks at your southern border and deal with who's coming through, because that's where the problem lies for you guys and for us, because it is starting to be a problem for Mexico.
Don't let them get all the way up to the point and then try to deal with the problem.
Right. Everybody's like, Hal, please take the hat off. No, I'm committed now. I'm stuck with it. Hold on one second.
Do they want me to keep mine on?
No, I'm going to, I want to be more like Boston Brian, though. How about this? Come on now.
Let's go. Oh, I like that one.
This is a good one.
I'm a big fan of
Can't
Westerns.
take me home. All right.
Big fan of Westerns myself. Something probably
me too.
Nobody realize. Love them. Mm-hmm. The old ones too. Like I'm talking like the older, like 1950s Westerns.
Terrible thing, killing a man. Take away all he's got and all he's ever gonna have.
You know, that hat reminds me of the one worn by, oh my God, in El Dorado, John Wayne movie with famous actor. I can't think of him. He's in the movie Elf. He's the father in Elf.
James Caan.
James Caan is the actor, and he's got a big top hat that he wears, and everybody kind of haggles him for wearing the big top hat, and he just like he doesn't take any grief, you know. He got
I got this one. I got this one specifically because the Ultimate Jam Night, we're doing a thing coming up, and I had to do a full on like fucking
ride, boldly ride.
Yeah, it's all the same. Only the names will change every day. Seems we're wasting away. I'm not gonna make
Deadliest Catch.
That's right. I'm wanted, dead or alive. All right, yeah, I can kill it. Fucking awesome at that shit. Get used to it.
Hell, people are gonna watch this. I just thought.
Yeah, and they'll go, God damn it! How do these guys have so much fun, and everybody else who does this shit is fucking miserable
and informative?
That's right.
Informative and fun.
Absolutely. I'll have you know that I've had this jacket, this duster, since I was in high school. And I once, when I was just barely 18, got
Were the sleeves ever longer than your arms?
Yeah, I mean, they're fucking, it's one of those things where, like, it's pretty baggy as it were, but I always pulled it up like this because I couldn't afford to get it tailored. You know, I was a broke little fucker.
You can get at your 6-shooter quicker, too.
Absolutely. So I walk back. I used to wear this all the time in school, and I walked back to my car with my friends at one point, and there was a note on my car, and it said, "Hey driver," because I was the driver of the car, it was my car. You're really cute. If you want something, call me. And my friends were all like, "You should fucking call," and everybody was like, "It's a guy," or whatever. It was like everybody was doing the thing, right? Like, and I ended up calling the number because of peer pressure and because I was an 18-year-old male, and the woman who wrote it was both were right. It was a woman, very attractive lady named Wendy. That's all I'll give out. The rest is for posterity or the book I write. And her two gay friends were like, "He's cute. He's your type. You should just leave your number on his car and see if he calls you because you need some action," or something like that. And so she, seriously, 18 years, and I come back and
some action.
Yeah. So we met because I didn't know what she looked like. So I met her at a restaurant downtown Chicago. You know, like old school. This is what we did before, Tinder, whatever, back in the day. You couldn't swipe right. You had to meet somebody.
I'm old enough.
And then you'd end up face down in a van with your pants on backwards if the night went well. And anyways, so she's really cute. She's a full decade and change older than me. 14-year difference in our age. It was pretty rock solid. And I was wearing this on like the second time I went out with her. I was wearing this, and I had this Billy and the Boingers shirt that I wore that was like ripped sleeves or whatever because the sleeves didn't work. So if those who know, Bloom County was like a comic in the newspaper back in the day. It was fantastic. Burke Breathed. It was great. Anyways, so I wore that to her, and she's like, "I really like your shirt." And I was like, "Keep it." So I walked out of her. I was like, I left her building, walked right past her doorman in this jacket, my jeans, and my sneakers, no shirt. And I was like, I am the fucking man. and the doorman goes like that. Like he totally
best walk of shame ever.
Absolutely. I was like,
all you needed was the hat.
Yeah, this jacket's got some history in it. I'm just saying. Yeah, I didn't have the hat though. I did not have the hat at the time. So
that's awesome.
Wanted, dead or alive. All right, so now it's back to these dickheads. Also, now I will say, and I think you'll agree.
I had the confidence to even try that,
dude. I have some sort of weird genetic confidence that's based on. I would say my entire confidence, and this is true. My entire confidence is at least 3 points in my childhood going, well, everything is fucked. I'm still alive. All right, well, let's get on with it. That's it. That was 100%. I don't need, like, honestly. I mean,
I've always been a really outgoing social guy. You know, I was always
the
idiot dancing at the weddings that I didn't even know what wedding I was at with people I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like the lively guy, like, oh, like the wedding crash. Like, we like this guy. Who's his cousin? He's a cousin, right?
Yeah, right.
What's this guy? Like, I don't even know him.
Excuse me. Do you know the father or the mother? You mean the bride or the groom? No, this is a bris. I'm sorry.
Singing and like I can't, like, there's a bunch of things I can't do. Like, I do sports, so I feel like I'm coordinated, which is frustrating because I can't play instruments and I can't sing, which I would love to do because I love people that can sing.
I guarantee I could get you to. I'm gonna right here before God and man and the entire chat room. I'm gonna teach you to sing because everybody can do it. And as a matter of fact, the male voice gets better over time.
Really?
The transfer of estrogen to testosterone as a woman ages affects her vocal cords and makes it harder for her to hit the higher notes that she had naturally that didn't require work. So a lot of times it gets more difficult. Men, on the other hand, because it's left over from our primate days, this is true, that if you take care of it anyways, and you don't have acid reflux, which is the other thing that kills everybody, your voice gets stronger because as a primate got weaker, you had to be louder to scare off the up-and-comers. So you had to be like, woo, woo, like you had to be able to make a big fucking noise. So primate male vocal cords get more like leathery. That's where the golden voice singers come from. Was the guys who just their voice gets richer with time, and the same thing is true of like high notes. If you have them, you can keep them, and as long as you don't fuck them up. The only thing that ever fucks anybody up is overuse, which is never a problem if you're not a professional singer.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm fucking wicked good in the shower or the car, but
we're still talking about singing, right? Okay, just want to clarify. I am too, but I it's interesting. Some people are like, I sing so much better in the shower. I feel the same way about close-up magic. My close-up magic is so much better in the shower. Same thing with juggling. I get in front of a group of people, I can't juggle for shit, but I get in the fucking shower and I'm like 2 bottles of shampoo and a bar of soap. It's amazing. It's just
nobody knows how to cure cancer, but I did it in the shower. I just can't do it out of the shower.
That's right. It's like a scientist I'm such a terrible scientist in the lab, but in the shower I'm fabulous. Right. Okay, let's continue this dipshittery.
Rather than the 1,000.
This is what the only thing that could make these videos take longer on my show is if I have a guest. This is a lesson to everybody. So anybody who's like, Jesus Christ, you're still on that video? No, not you. I mean, when I'm by myself, just imagine.
That we've seen sitting there in Eagle Pass. But there's another factor in all of this, not just the great efforts of the governor, the legislature.
What's the other factor? That the biggest, scariest dude of all these guys looks like the nicest guy and is wearing fucking joggers.
And is helping everybody down, waiting until everybody make sure
right. Safe. It's like you after you. He's the biggest.
We got all 4 of them. We got all 4 of them. Thank you.
Hooray! They're all.
Thanks for filming this.
They're all military / roofing age males.
Legislature to pass laws allowing us to be able to arrest people. But also, I think what's going on is a political play. We know that there's been reporting that Obrador has met with the Biden administration.
Yes, they've been coordinating like adults.
Some about an agreement that is not fully clear to lower the numbers. They're now trying to pull people off trains. They're making changes down in Mexico.
Right, which you would want them to do, but that's bad because it's making you look like a dickhead right in the year when you're supposed to be able to go down there and fucking bang shit together. And again, part of our leverage as a country is financial. Our biggest leverage as a country is financial because at no point, you have to understand the Mexican government, when they have these people coming through, they know that the majority of them want to go to the United States, but if they don't get to the United States, they all speak Spanish and they could stick around and fuck around and work for cartels and do all kinds of stuff in Mexico, and that's no good for them either. So one of the only impetuses we have, they have a big impetus for them to just keep them going through in the day. Like they don't want them to stay here, so keep moving forward. But if we use our financial leverage, which we have an enormous amount of, and Trump thinks he invented it with, I'm going to put 100% tariff on which is ridiculous because it's American car companies, just as stupid as, where's the Mexican car? Show me the Mexican fucking car, dum-dum.
And then the American taxpayer will have to subsidize another $28 billion.
Which is exactly what we're doing anyways. And effectively, like he'll have to bail out the auto workers and go, I gave the auto workers $28 billion.
I cannot lose Michigan. No way I can lose Michigan.
No way.
Got the workers $28 billion.
Because the Muslims who I would ban immediately.
Donald Trump's
do not
like, that,
Genocide Joe.
Who will be like, can I borrow $10? And then he just somehow just gives the $10 right back to you and thinks it's like a great deal or something.
That's right. Yeah. I gave you $10. You gave me my $10 back. What?
Right. No, I just gave you $10.
No, you didn't. That's my $10. Of course it is. Good for you. You're welcome. What do you mean you're welcome? Did I not just hand you $10? Yeah, but what are you mad about?
To decrease those numbers electorally this year.
Electorally? What? Decrease those numbers electorally. By the way, Trump's wall looks like shit. I'm just going to say.
I think he was going to say electrically.
Yeah, electric. Yeah, they're going to electrify the fucking fence. Is that what he's talking about? Don't whiz on the electric fence.
Don't give him any ideas
for election purposes. So that's another fact.
Okay. Again, this is a big. What the fuck? Stop it.
Why don't they just put a big trap door like they want to do in all the schools?
Right.
Put a big trap door at all the entrances.
Yeah. So again, one of the issues here is just the sheer Eagle Pass has become a big deal because the Biden administration is basically tamping down all these spots where the wall is never, ever going to do shit, right? Oh, we've got Boston Brian back. He's back from the other side now.
That thing's heavy, man. That thing is heavy.
Yeah. Man, I got to say, wearing a hat all the time is a fucking weird feeling.
It's like a real deal Texas.
I don't know how they did it back in the fucking 40s. I admire it. Like, I love the idea that men used to walk around in suits with a hat on all the time.
Dude, going outside without your hat was like going outside without pants in the 40s.
Right. Well, one of my favorite movies is Miller's Crossing. Have you ever seen Miller's Crossing?
I have.
God damn, I love that movie. And the point is he has this dream that his hat is flying away at Miller's Crossing, and he goes, I had a dream I lost my hat and it blew off. And she goes, and you followed it, and when you caught up with it, it wasn't a hat. And he goes, no, let it go, because there's nothing more embarrassing than a man chasing his hat. Because it's a thing. That was a fucking thing. Your hat blew off. Part of the reason why they wore such heavy hats is so the wind wouldn't take it. And
you saw it in Back to the Future.
Right.
Don't forget your hat.
Don't forget your hat.
They're now trying to pull people off trains. They're making changes down in Mexico. They know they need to decrease those numbers electorally this year for election purposes.
I don't know what that means.
It's just fucking stupid. He just means to help them in the election. They need to bring the numbers down during the election year or whatever, which is exactly what Trump did with Title 42. He was like, I can institute Title 42 and remain in Mexico because it's a medical emergency. I'll use the medical emergency to clamp down on the border like never before. Mm-hmm. But once the pandemic's over, it's going to open up again. That's one of the reasons why he held off on his State Department announcing that it was over, even though he wanted to. He was trying to get ahead of it because of the stock market. The other reason was, like, if we say that, then Title 42 has to be ended legally, so it opens the border up again, and there's going to be a rush. No matter what.
He actually did somewhat of a good job of setting up Joe Biden to take the blame for a lot of things. You know what I mean? A lot of it just was chance that happened, because when you come in after a pandemic, you know, there's obviously some rebuilding time where the country needs to get itself back together, and you're not going to be on the up and up. So you're going to be kind of going flatlined where everybody just wants to get back to where they were. So you're obviously going to catch some grief for that. You're obviously, because you're in charge after a pandemic, you're the one that everybody's going to get their complaints to. So Donald Trump had that going for him. He knew the pandemic was still going. I mean, he still uses the fact that, what's he say? More people died under Biden than under Donald Trump. And it's like, well, when you let a pandemic get in full force and then you leave office, and then the next guy takes over when that pandemic is in full force and full swing, killing God knows how many people per day, then what do you? I mean, come on, you can't really. I mean, he's taking over mid.
Well, I mean, crisis. They that wasn't new. They learned that from the Obama years when they said more people were on food stamps, put on food stamps under Obama than any time in history. It's because it was in 2008 as the economy was crashing because of what had happened, you know, like as he came in 2009, it was officially like it switched over. Fucking John McCain was going to suspend his campaign leading up to the election. That was one of his last ditch efforts to try and show that he was in charge or ready to be in charge or any of that shit. and they were like, more people were on food stamps under Obama than any person in history. Now, more people came off of it than ever, but they're like, that's just because things normalized after a while. Like, that was a fait accompli.
So that's another factor. And now you're seeing, because of Texas enforcement and
because of Texas enforcement, people aren't showing up. Really?
Because Mexico concentrated on Coahuila right across the border. Now you're seeing the numbers move to California. So I think that's part of.
Yeah, because Biden hates Gavin Newsom. Is that what it is? Fuck you.
All of this puzzle.
You know, Congressman, we're told Senator Langford of Oklahoma.
And by the way, I'd like to thank P&O Ned Lloyd for sponsoring the wall.
Hell?
Yeah, it's
they put their name on that for. You know what I mean?
Well, they didn't. They are just using old containers.
No, I know, but I think if I was that company, I would be like, okay, can we, cover it or spray paint?
No press is bad press. You know what I mean? It's that or a minor league hockey team.
That's true.
More people see the border on the news in Texas than watch their minor league teams. And what can you afford?
You kidding me, Lloyd? It's going to look great through that barbed wire.
Fantastic. What have you done, boy? What have you done?
It says that border deal measure should be released sometime tomorrow. I think you guys will have 72 hours to read it. He says it's about 200 pages. So you'll finally get.
Oh, my God. The kids again. Look at the fucking loop of this shit. They're playing this on a loop.
But can we not gloss over the fact that we are like babying our fucking politicians to give them like enough time to read 200 fucking pages of material that's going to help our country? Like they keep complaining, oh, how are we going to read this shit? It's like you have a week. Sometimes you get a week or two, 3-4 days to read 100, 200 pages. I mean, I know some of them are huge, but usually those omnibus bills, you're given an ample amount of time in staff to kind of go through the parts that you need to go through.
For the record, fuck this 2 weeks bullshit. This is from 2021. January 20th, 2021, wasting no fucking time. He sent his border bill, which was create an earned roadmap to citizenship and undocumented, keep families together, embrace diversity, promote immigration and refugee integration and citizenship, grow our economy, protect workers from exploitation, improve the employment verification process so that people can't be exploited under the table, smart border control, supplement existing border resources with technology and infrastructure, manage the border and protect border communities, crack down on criminal organizations.
Right, so things being thrown at the Republicans that they have to learn now.
No,
like things that they should already be well the fuck aware of.
Yes, and he's doing it in kind of this is the PR version of it that's leaned towards how Democrats think of the border, but it's basically the same shit. Like you describe the same elephant to like 4 different people. It's still the same fucking elephant, but if if you like trunks, you're in this thing. If you like tail, you're in this end. If you like ears, you're in the other one. That's how they discuss these things, but it's all the same. It's all the same. Only the names will change.
Don't you love when a joke, like when a good comedian starts off with a joke early in the set and then somehow reels that joke and fires it out
callback
back in the end of the set? I like it.
I do it.
Yeah.
That's called wit and it's spontaneous.
Video though, this video that they use, it's like the Hunter Biden shit. You know what I mean? It's like if they really had all these fucking pictures and incriminating shit, why are we seeing the same fucking 6 or 7 pictures or not even that many? You know what I mean?
I hear one more thing about like, hope you don't have to give Pop half your money when we've already learned that was what Biden did with Hunter when he was in college. When he was in college, that was the deal. He and Bo both, if they worked, they had to give half their salary to Joe because they were staying at home, to pay their bills, to teach them responsibility, and have them so that they're not just carried.
And then to give to them a guarantee to hold, and then when it became time where they were, mature enough to give them a
nest egg to start whatever the fuck you were doing, right? And then later on, they started this like they had that guy Schwerin become an executor effectively for him because he couldn't be trusted with his own money because he was a fucking drug addict, and they were making sure that he didn't snort everything because the guy's got fucking kids.
A chance to find out what's in it, what you've heard about it. What do you think about
what you've heard about it?
Look at them. Oh my God.
I know. I swear to fucking God. Whoever is in the booth hates these motherfuckers. Yeah.
That looks like a well-trained baby on that little
he's basically a Navy SEAL. I mean, that kid will fucking Chucky you in a second, man. Crawl up your fucking back. And just run away.
Look at that.
They sharpen his nails so he could.
You know what they're thinking?
Well,
just give me a fucking shower. I just want a fucking nice hot shower and a meal and a fucking bed with some nice fucking sheets on it and a pillow and then a place to live and then some work to feed my family so that I can live outside of the realm of the fucking disastrous environment that I just left.
Right. Scraping and scrapping.
First of all, I mean, look, I don't want to disparage anybody. I mean, Senator Langford has tried to work to do something here. But look, bottom line is this is a bill that we know is dead when it comes to the House in terms of any of the provisions that we believe are in it.
Can I just say,
think of that statement, and that we believe are in it.
Right.
So he doesn't even know. So he's not even 100% sure, even though he should be, because we know what the fuck is going to be in it. But he's saying to the American people that it's dead on arrival before I even know what the fuck it is.
Because, and here's the thing, if I'm the Biden administration or I'm Democrats in the Senate, like, I'm just going to tee up if I know you're going to kill it, I'm going to give you every inch of fucking rope to hang yourself.
Right. Put everything in there that's going to help the American people. The best shit you could possibly fucking think of.
Just slather it. And call it the Save Texas Act or some shit.
Who said no to that one again? Raise your hand really high.
Right, yeah.
Say no to that one.
And then we'll just slather a name on there that we can just tack to. Voted against the immigration, the Seal Our Border Act of 2024, right?
Fix Our Country Forever Act.
Baby seal. Bruce Baker in the chat for the win. Baby seals. It's the baby seals. It's an invasion of the baby seals.
Jesus Christ. You just can't hit them. They're so low.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can't pick them up on radar. That's how they get you.
Not seen the text. We'll see.
And he does mean not seen.
The text hopefully tomorrow or Saturday.
We're not going to read it, though, because it's dead on arrival. Why would I waste my time? That's the other part.
Right. We're going to read it. We know it's dead, but we're going to take the 72 hours to read it and then come back to tell you that it's dead.
And I hope they do. You know why? Because they're going to sit there going, fuck me.
Right, exactly. That'll help. This'll help.
They're not going to release this on the internet. Are they so that people can read this?
Yeah,
fuck
this
me.
It's going to move to it
constituents.
Yeah, right.
Next week. I mean, Mike Lee, as a senator, has been going around saying, guys, I don't even know what's in the bill yet. And they're talking about filing cloture next week.
That looks like a wide open border to me. It seems like these people can just stampede across. Nobody's even trying to do anything about it.
Nobody even there.
No, yeah. I mean, I guess look at that Customs and Border Patrol guy. He's like, now that they're sitting, I'll just leave.
That is the tool in the Senate to move to the bill, as you know. So that's a problem. We know that it's setting sort of a floor instead of a ceiling of like $5,000 a month. We're not.
Also, that's just bullshit.
You know what it is? Those people are fucking exhausted too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're fucking exhausted physically. They just left everything they've ever fucking known for their entire life. You know, their family, their fucking friends, their, whatever. And the places they used to hang out.
Closest thing to the fucking Mayflower. Yeah. That's the closest thing you can be on to the Mayflower to get to this fucking country right now is that walk.
Like, just fucking, like, I don't think people realize really when we say, they're coming to the southern border, it makes it sound too easy almost. You know what I mean? They're not. This is a fucking a journey and a trek for only the strongest minded people that are determined to make it to a better life. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
That's the people that don't make it are the ones that are unsure, that are weak. You know what I mean?
It's an excellent point. And think of it this way. Think of how shitty some of the countries they're leaving are, like how destitute, how dangerous, how, the government and the cartels are working together, how violent and horrifying. And the majority of people stay, put up with it, live with it, assume there can be no change in their life. And these are the folks who go, no, I can't change this. I don't have the power to change this because it's fucking overwhelming. I'm going to get the rat's ass out of here and go someplace where my kid has a shot. And we're going to incorporate ourselves into the society. Like, none of these motherfuckers, by the way, like, do bad people fold in? Absolutely. Do they take advantage of it? Of course they do. Are half these assholes just drug mules that get kicked out and brought back over? During Title 42, that was the fucking industry. Once we're back to Title 8, everything goes back to normal, and that's why the number's coming down. We work with Mexico, and boom. We're back to Obama-Biden numbers. That's how it works. But fucking hell, the people who actually, like, trekked up here to do this are going to do everything they can. These are like the Hispanic families
carrying kids, carrying
carrying your child,
carrying a kid on your shoulders. Like, get the fuck
God.
out of here. That's incredible.
Anybody who's ever carried their sleeping child through an airport from, and this is where I say single dads who have custody exchanges over long distances, I fucking see you. But when you're carrying your kid because they're asleep like this, from
you can't feel your fucking arm or your shoulders about to fall the fuck off.
It's locked in. You've got basically like tennis elbow from them just holding there, and they're fucking out. And you just want them to sleep because you want them to be okay, and you don't want them, every moment they're awake.
Any movement you make could wake them up, so you don't
want
to fuck
and you're just doing the best you fucking can. I know it's the same for women, but I'm saying specifically, Sea Creech, you get me. That when I see this, I know the feeling personally in my bones, right? You're carrying not just that, but you're pulling your bag and you've got like the child car seat with you on top of the shit and all that stuff, and you're bringing every little bit of it. Yeah.
Like,
yes, Mary Dad's stupid.
Like, this is a trip. You're not going back. Like, you're not. No. This isn't a fucking. You're packing a 2-week suitcase for you and your son. This is everything you need to survive.
You have jettisoned your fucking life. Yeah.
Right. So let's show these fucking people some respect. I mean, that's basically the point that I'm getting to. It's like there was 2 people in World War II. I bring everything back to World War II. That's what I know. But there was the people that saw what was coming and either got themselves out or got their kids out or any family members that they sent them to the UK or they sent them to the United States or they sent them to Australia or they sent them to any place that was going to be safe, basically. And then there were the people that you will see in movies depicted walking around the war zone like life never changed. You know what I mean? They're walking around rubble, just glassy-eyed, staring straight, just walking like they're going to the store, like nothing ever happened. Like
the Ukrainian Holodomor, same thing. Like
that's what I'm saying. Same thing in Ukraine,
right? Slovakian, like they're like in the Slovak communities and in Poland and other places. Like there were certain Ukrainians who were just like, oh, there's no food here. I can see it 8 months out. This is going to be bad. So you take the kid and get the fuck out of here. Change your name, do what you got to do, but never come back because there is no here anymore, at least for the foreseeable future.
And unfortunately, it's the Ukrainian grandmothers that are left, and the older generations of the Ukrainians that are like, "This is
they can't make the walk.
I'm not fucking leaving. I couldn't probably make it anyway in my health. This is it. Unfortunately, this is it. I wouldn't. This is my home. I'm going to take the chance. Whatever happens, and because they're hardened people too. Like they've been through some shit, so they kind of have that like steel backbone type of thing where I don't, just fuck it, whatever happens kind of, right. I've been through it already.
I think also to point out this thing, like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 soldiers right here, Border Patrol or National Guard or whoever they are, and that's the only ones in the shot. Dealing with 4 and their armed body armor, all their kind of shit, which they should and need to have, all that stuff. The cartels are just a mile away. They do some gnarly shit to these guys, and these people are trying to get across as well. Right. They have to go through that fucking gauntlet.
I was going to say, that's another whole aspect to it, too.
Right. That they have to, they know when they're making the walk up that the cartels own the next 20 miles to the border.
Right. You have to have enough money to make it the whole fucking way.
You either pay them or die. There's so many fucking shallow graves in Mexico south of that window where you
didn't have enough money left when you got to that point.
Or you paid them and they fucking blew your brains out and kept it because they were just having a bad day, or the Mexican government had just...
Or you had to run, or they drop them, or... Right.
Yeah, or you looked at somebody sideways. It's fucked up. But there are like 5 soldiers here, all being respectful. They backed this truck up so these guys could get down. These guys are doing an honorable job right here, dealing with 5 on 4. That's how many people are coming. Like, the idea that it's a fucking invasion, and this is all the talk you're hearing is just invasion. He's saying it. Fucking Cavuto or whatever is saying the same shit. Meanwhile, the Dow is fucking turning greener by the second, and there's 4 fucking guys in they look like they're on their way to high school.
Exactly. You get the Incredible Hulk.
Okay, we're not going to do that.
Ready to bust.
Right. Hal. Speaker Johnson's been very clear about that. So we're going to need to do our part to make sure we push to get actual border security, not this, effort by the Senate to do another deal. Whenever the Senate starts coming together.
Yeah, it looks like a total invasion. These guys, They're totally
just
prepared
unsecured,
for an invasion.
Totally unsecured. I don't see any security in that photo.
Yeah, it's amazing. Look, that's Joe Biden's border. There you go. Just wide open.
Do a deal, man, run away from it because it's never going to work out well for the hardworking people out there. I'm happy to go sit down and have a conversation, but we passed a bill last year that would actually do the job. We know we need
the amount of cops there too. You see the amount of fucking officers they just had there?
Huge. Right. It ain't, and again, it ain't staff. That's not the problem. It's processing, because you got to be able to process who's really
what to do after you get them.
And the weird part is, like, one of the biggest things in this bill that they're working on that is known, because Biden has asked for it since the beginning, is a tightening of the rules of what it means to seek asylum. Because right now, all you have to do is convince them of an imminent threat. And there's like 5 things you have to say that legally qualify for that. And anybody can just memorize the phrase and they qualify for asylum. And that's not right to people who actually need it. And they will overwhelm the system. Because imagine you're coming from a country, your country is falling apart, starvation, violence, all this kind of stuff. You're already emotionally, physically traumatized, and you're dragging your family along, right? And you just need to express these 5 things, which are true for you, to get asylum into the United States. And some asshole who's just an economic migrant who's going to work here for a little while, send money back for the nest egg, go to school in Mexico later, and that kind of stuff. He doesn't have any of those problems.
He just repeated them. He repeated those phrases the whole time, so he knew them.
He's healthier, so he beats you to the fucking starting line. He beats you to the border, says those 5 things, and then he diminishes the available funds and support that would be present for you. And by the time you get there, the whole country's in an uproar about, we got to shut this fucking shit down because we can't afford these folks. Well, part of the reason we can't afford these folks is because the standard for what means to, what it means to be a true asylum seeker is so fucking low. So Biden asked early on to raise those standards, and you have to be adjudicated in 90 days, or that's it. There's no rolling thing on that, and every adult gets an ankle bracelet. We're going to keep track of you the entire time you're here, even if you're with a NGO or with the Catholic charities or whatever. But children don't.
You know, we actually do know where these people are at all times.
We know who they are, where they're from. We've taken their iris scans, they're fingerprinted. We have DNA.
That is a huge relief, Hal. Dude, Donald Trump tells me otherwise.
We swab every one of these motherfuckers. Why do you think we know who was on the terror watch list on a number that bigger than we ever have? Well, they're like, we've discovered more people from countries on the terror watch list. You know why? Because we ran a fucking 23andMe, and we know we know their hapto group. We know where their fucking mother, when their mother's mother.
Here's their family crest.
Right.
This is their family crest.
Right. We know, we know they're 30%, Arab and 12% North African, and, and 80, 80 years ago, they had some of their folks came down from Czechoslovakia. They're like, that's surprising. Right. That's interesting.
Their family suffered from, looks like a period of a lot of diseases ran through their family at this point.
That's right. Yeah, like everyone.
Law. And that's what we got to do, is hold the administration accountable. And I hope we actually...
Also, I'd like to point out that guy in the ripped jeans, I'd like to say for the record, that guy with the ripped jeans, those are not naturally occurring rips in his jeans. Those are store-bought ripped jeans. So, again, that guy's going to lose his asylum claim. Just saying. If you're a dude and you're coming through and there are NGOs handing out pants, wear those pants. Because if you're wearing the ripped jeans if you're wearing H&M, they're going to go, you're a little too styling. Were you afraid of gang violence?
Lucky jeans? Are those Lucky brand?
Right. Yeah. Is MS-13 anti-metrosexual? Because I'm saying you're pretty styling.
Beach Mayorkas on the floor of the House next week as well.
We don't know all the details. Some of them that have leaked out say that President Biden likes what's being worked on. He said that he would shut down the border as soon as he gets something like this. But there is a caveat on it there, and we don't know for sure if it's true, Congressman, that up to 5,000.
Okay, this bullshit drives me crazy. Let me tell you what the actual thing is in this, and I haven't even seen it because I've seen all the other draft version of this, is that when encounters at the border at any particular point are in a single day are over 5,000, the president can shut down that port for the foreseeable future to stop that flow.
This is ports of entry, correct?
Yeah, well, this is ports of entry, but it's also areas where they gather Eagle Pass. So they can stop even processing people. They can say nobody goes through. They can shut down. They can literally, just like reject anybody on face at that point. Nobody crosses in. If you're found there, they literally drive you to the other side of the border and put you back. If you try, you have to go to some place organized, or you have to go to one of these NGO places in Mexico and file there. And there's plenty of food, and there's shelter, and there's money, and there's, you'll be fine, and you'll have a phone, and you can talk to people in the States, and they can sponsor you, and they can talk to immigration and all that kind of shit. But what they're trying to stop is the weaponization of migration by Russia and China, who are driving a lot of these groups and paying people to go for it. And they're manipulating waves of migrants to try and control this. Yep. And one of the other things they do is that if there's a single place where there seems to be a lot of crossings, right now they just kind of look for the weak spot. So it's not natural for people who are walking to end up in these really, in these particular places like Eagle Pass or something like that. They have to be brought there or directed there by the cartels or by other people telling them. If that number breaches, if it gets to 5,000, they can shut down all entry, period, at that point. That's it. It's just about, like, if there are too many people there and we can't process them, everybody goes back. And nobody can come through at all. That's it. And that's what it's always been. And so it's like, if it's 5,000 on one particular day, they can shut it down on that day entirely and just reject anybody who tries to come over until those 5,000 are processed, which could be a long fucking time, by the way. Or if it's 4,000 over the course of 7 days, if it averages at 4,000 over 7 days, they can shut down the place. After a week of 4,000 a day, and this isn't people who get to come in. This is not people who automatically are accepted. This is just the volume of interactions at the border. If we see more than 4,000 people at any of these particular points for 7 days in a row, gathering, trying to cross, people, running across in groups or trying to show up at the border and present themselves for asylum, if all those people put together, there's more than 4,000 people doing that for 7 days in a row, they shut down that whole area. If it's over 5,000 at any one particular point, they shut down the border for that day in that area entirely. No one can cross. They're not processing anybody, and everybody gets rejected. So it keeps the cartels and the people who are trying to weaponize migration from being able to hit weak spots along the border, because it shuts that down.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What about U.S. citizens that either need to cross for work or they go cross for, say, vacation or something? Does that count as an encounter, a crossing?
Only if they come illegally. Only if they cross without ID in the middle of the fucking desert.
Well, because I know they were saying that, like, at the ports of entry, even when people are using, you can walk, you can either drive, or they have the walk, you can walk by on the border.
Right.
They were saying that they were using those as encounters under Title 42, I think.
Yes. Yeah. At the actual ports where people are coming through or presenting themselves for asylum, along with that, if there are a lot of Americans coming to and fro, and they come over on one particular day, to make them able to process the non-Americans, because it's resource heavy, and plus the trucks that come through are the big part about that. Because if you have one guy crosses, but he's driving a truck, and you have to process that guy, or he's got an American with him, but the driver is Mexican, and they go back and forth all the time and stuff. But the truck has to be checked for fentanyl and other kind of shit. That number can be very small. So yes, I would argue that more than likely that does include naturalized citizens, Americans, people with visas, permanent residents, and people.
The truck drivers. You hit it the nail on the head, like the truck drivers that go back and forth.
Right, but that's in a given day, you're really talking about, I don't know, maybe 500 max of business travel back and forth that are driving back and forth. Which will increase over really time. No, it's not going to. And that will be factored into. The only thing that happens is if they have to look at the trucks. If they have 500 fucking Mack trucks, over the regular quota, more than likely that would be it. And they're gonna increase, because again, Mexico is our biggest trading partner. Yeah. So this is can someone please give Chip something to run on?
Is the ceiling that could be allowed staying in here every day.
And again, that's not it. This is the part that they've latched onto. That is nowhere. There is no fucking way that Langford or any of these other Republican assholes sat down and said, I'm cool with 5,000. undocumented people with dubious asylum claims being allowed into the country on the southern border every day. Like 5,000 might be the number of immigrants allowed daily, nationwide.
Wasn't Mike Johnson trying to make it something ridiculous? Like he didn't want any. Like weren't there a few Republican congressmen?
Well, the idea is that we have to shut it down so there's no illegal immigration, which is like saying we're going to stop all shipping until there is not one single stowaway anywhere in the world. You know what I mean?
Well, I was arguing last night with somebody about the whole like, why are we helping these people when we have people in our cities now that need help? And it's like, okay, so basically what you're saying to me is, we should never help an asylum seeker or anybody that comes from another country seeking a better life until every single homeless person in the United States, every single veteran in the United States is taken care of in a home and fed, because it's just not a fucking realistic. It's just never going to happen.
So it's worse than that.
I guess you're saying that we can't walk and chew gum at the same time with a $36 trillion economy. I think you're fucking barking up the wrong tree, because it doesn't make any sense to say I don't want to help anybody because we can't help everybody.
Irony.
You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know?
Right. The fucking irony that the vast majority of when they get work permits of like, especially the women that come across the border in the South, what they end up being is they end up working as nurses or medical aides. That's the first job they take as a bigger job. I mean, they work in, most of them will take, like cashier jobs and stuff like that.
They don't go cut the hedges of the Christian broadcast news guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Offering jobs to people at the fucking border.
That's right.
Asshole.
Right. Just get in my van, you'll make $20, and they turned me down. Maybe it's because you look like a fucking creep. Is it weird that you just walk up to random people in the desert and offer them jobs, money to get in your vehicle?
Is it normal that you live in fucking Panama as a U.S. fucking born? Right. You were born in the U.S., living in Panama, but you're doing your fucking report on the Mexican border. It's like, what the fuck?
And you intentionally moved to Panama to
tax dodging piece of shit.
Jesus Christ, yeah. It's like the dude on Redacted Tonight or whatever, that asshole who's like escaping some sort of legal issue in Ohio. But let me be abundantly clear. Not only do a good portion of these folks come in and do a lot of manual labor, and when they do like what's effectively skilled labor, it's in the medical arena. They get their nursing degrees and that kind of stuff, and if you don't believe me, look at how many first generation or second generation immigrants are working in the VA as nurses, nursing assistants, lab techs, and all that kind of stuff. It's one of the first places that they go. Okay. So if you want the vets and the VA to have enough people to deal with the aging population and veterans who need the help, these folks are going to be necessary to that job base.
Society.
Absolutely
literally helping us society.
That's right. Secondly, and insofar as like manual labor and all this other stuff, if you have a drugged out person who their brain is effectively fried and they are homeless, the needs and wants of that person as far as public assistance are vastly different than someone who comes here, temporarily gets rental assistance and food and that kind of stuff until their kid gets into school and is allowed to get a work permit and start working because they don't have the problems that person whose brain is effectively fried by drugs has. So that they're not going to be homeless. You can't help that homeless person the way you help this person because this is temporary. That's fucking permanent. And the irony is that this person you're helping temporarily oftentimes will go into construction and between like food service, working in, chicken plants and all that kind of stuff where a lot of these folks find their work, they get, the other place they go into is construction.
So they're either feeding us, saving our lives, or building the
housing
houses that we live in.
Where the fuck do you think homeless people are eventually going to live if we don't have more goddamn homes for them to actually live in? And we're 9 million employees short of filling the jobs in this country, and a lot of it is physical labor. And a lot of the folks that make the trek because they know they're good at physical labor and they're able to do it, and eventually maybe they'll do the physical labor because that's what first generation immigrants do a lot of the time, and then their kid will be able to get an education and they will eventually have a job that's less physically demanding.
Right. Correct. Right. Well, I mean, you also have to look at why the shitty jobs in this country are not filled. I mean, a lot of people left these jobs during the pandemic when they were like, okay, I'm either A, not being paid enough to go to this job while this whole thing's spreading around, or B, right, or B, I'm being told that I'm non-essential, even though I have to go fucking basically risk my life every day to help customers and different people, seeing 20, 30, 40 people on a day, where who knows, each one of those people could have the COVID virus. So it's like a lot of fucking people left the restaurant business that was hurting. A lot of restaurants shut down, so a lot of people weren't on waiting tables anymore. So those places are hurting. Like you said, it's a lot of the construction jobs that were low paying. You're out there breaking your back for low money, which is why a lot of these jobs are open, and a lot of these asylum seekers are more than willing to come in here and bust their ass. I know in my area we have a shitload of Brazilian roofing companies that work their fucking asses off from dark in the morning to dark at night. And I'm talking about their wives, their daughters. I'm not talking about just the men. I'm talking about their fucking wives are up there busting their ass, like ripping the roof, fucking humping shingles up on the roof, setting up the ladders. Their wives and shit, like their fucking wives and kids, like busting their fucking.
God bless them. And I gotta say, like, nobody, you know how like all the grumble about dudes who stand around Home Depot parking lots looking for pickup work, right? First of all, none of them are standing around waiting to be lazy. None of them are standing around waiting for a job hey, you got a job where I can sit for a while?
And I want to wake up really early, shower, get ready, get dressed to go to work, and sit in front of fucking Home Depot to be lazy. That's what I want to do.
It's fucking nuts. And by the way, Becky Sue, thank you for the super chat. She says, Mama, do let your babies grow up to be Hal boys. That's cute. I like that. That's very nice. And then Lizzie Dog, thank you so much. She says, you two are fucking hilarious. Thank you. Hugs, love, and good vibes, sparklers. I appreciate that.
Guys.
Thanks
Once
for the
again,
super chat.
I say it all the time. You guys have the best chat, Hal. You have put together, you have one of the most fantastic group of people. One of the most dedicated, one of the most loyal, one of the most knowledgeable, one of the most caring and loving chats on this fucking platform. So congrats to you on that.
No question. I fucking love these folks. Even our maggots are like the almost the palatable ones. Even our trolls are like adorable. Right. Yeah. So but I literally, like, the people who come up here to like and end up doing construction jobs so their fucking kids have a fucking chance. Do I understand that you cannot absorb an indefinite number of fucking people and blah, 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 and that live off the government tit and all that kind of stuff? Of course. But that's not what's going on. It's not ever what's been going on. And it's not
people
even
also die too,
Jesus.
It's not like everybody, like, it just continues to grow and grow, and just like there are at times where people leave this earth, and then somebody comes in, one leaves, somebody comes in, one leaves, that type.
Well, one of the things about America, one of the best things about it is, it doesn't show up on anybody's 23andMe. That's one of the best things about being an American, is American's not going to show up on your fucking 23andMe ever. Irish might, English might, French, and North African, fucking Arab, whatever, Iranian, Persian, whatever you want to call it, like, that will show up. American never does, and that's what's fucking awesome about us, because it's an idea, and it's an idea anybody can share as long as you're willing to participate in it, because America is a participation sport. And so if you're coming here and you want to be free and you want to, contribute to the country and all that kind of stuff, even if you're humping it just to get up here, I fucking salute you. That's what it means to be an American, right? And so he's like, what about
I feel like all Native we have to do is rename Eagle Pass Ellis Island. You know what I mean? Like if we had to say, like, all these people are coming through Ellis Island, you know what I mean?
They just
basically, what is the fucking difference?
One of them fucking said we should turn the Lady Liberty's torch into a taser or some shit like that. Like they're just assholes. Like they would, if you did that, they would go, that's basically what Ellis Island is. That's what it's basically.
Is the difference though? Like, just think of it. People from Italy, fucking all over the world, all over the fucking world.
Say that now, but look at all the trouble they caused for about 4 fucking decades, young man. I mean, honestly.
They packed up their whole fucking lives, got on a ship,
You've heard about Scarface, you know?
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this video. Finish the video out because we're literally at the end of the show.
Jay Johnson, the Homeland Security Secretary under Barack Obama, had said anything over 1,000 was crazy. Right. So if that's true, is that a definite no vote from you?
Of course, because it's not in there. Now, what if it's? Here's the thing: if Neil Cavuto turns out to be an asshole, which he is, and Chip Roy realizes that that's not the standard, or that it's the nationwide standard for visas in general, which would drop the number of fucking visas in like by half at least nationwide yearly. It'd drop it from like 2 million to 2 million to about 1.2 million, right?
It's amazing how little they talk about people overstaying visas if they're actually concerned about immigration in this country.
You don't think people if Trump Tower Miami wasn't the fucking prenatal care space for Russian anchor babies, the place would have fucking gone broke and sank into the ocean years ago.
Oh, I mean, it's not just a no vote. I mean, it's a,
It's not just a no vote. I'm not going to just say no. I'm going to say, like, no and really mean it.
As they say, like, fix bayonets and, like, take the magazine out and throw it at them, whatever it takes, right? It is an absolute...
Hold on. Wait, what did he just say? Hold on.
Sorry.
It's not just a no.
No vote from you.
Oh, I mean, it's not just a no vote. I mean, it's a, as they say, like, fix bayonets and, like, take the magazine out and throw it at them, whatever it takes, right? It
Fix bayonets, take the magazine out and throw it at them, whatever it takes. You don't have you're talking about legislation, you douchebag.
And it's like, why would you use your magazine if you have your
the bayonets on there? You think it's gonna? You think the pointy part's not gonna work?
Sword on the front of your weapon. Why would you throw your magazine?
You bent my bayonet. Shit.
Yeah, right.
Well, this plastic thing should work.
It says made in China. My bayonet was made in China.
God damn it! It's like these guys, like the guys who throw
Timu.
Yeah, they shoot Superman and then throw their gun at him when they're out of bullets. You're like, dude, if the bullets. You know what? Never mind. You're busy getting your ass kicked.
It is an absolute throw everything I can to stop it because...
Yes. Chimp Roy is just going to throw shit like the fucking monkey that he is.
This is what happens. Republicans try to take the goalpost, they move, they open up the floodgates to, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is a day. We've been running at 10,000 a day.
No, we haven't, by the way. They're not letting in 10,000 a day.
That's what I thought he said. That's what I thought they were saying.
No.
Right, that's what I thought earlier.
Like, it's just bullshit. Like, no, we have not been letting in 5,000 to 10,000 people a day. We've been processing a bunch of these folks, but we've been ejecting them at a higher level than Trump ever did.
Then want to come back and say, we'll agree with you. We'll cut a great deal for the American people. We'll set the new standard at 5,000 a day. As you just noted, 5 times worse than what Obama's secretary said, Jay Johnson.
Gee, who is Obama's vice president? Who was accused during the Obama administration of being too draconian about the fucking border? Who was the guy advising Obama on tightening border stuff so that Republicans wouldn't use it as a wedge issue?
Unfucking believable.
They just, I don't doubt it. He worked for Ted Cruz. He slept through the Obama
said was an actual problem. Why would we do that? Now they'll push back and say, oh no.
And just say.
Same video.
Yeah, over and over again. Same kids, guy with giving the kid a fucking shoulder ride.
That's not actually the standard. It'll be lower than that at times, but that's crazy. The fact that they're setting it 5,000, the reforms they're putting in place on asylum and parole, they won't do the job. By the
way, he doesn't know, and yes, they will.
Those numbers, they don't deal with the family units, right? They're trying to say, oh, you'll detain the single adult males and single adult people, but we won't actually touch the family units. Well, guess what? You'll just encourage more family units, which encourages more sex trafficking of kids, abuse of kids.
No, it won't.
What the fuck did we get to that?
I don't know, because the idea is, like, if you have a complete family unit, that's what would lower that part of it. And the other thing is like, we DNA test these motherfuckers.
So basically saying if we don't tear the families up, we have to tear the families up. If we don't tear them up, it's just going to encourage more families to come.
Exactly. if the adults can sneak across, the children are left behind at the border, which they brought them up. They came up as a family unit, but only the adult male can make it across the fucking desert and sneak in. Yeah. So the family stays over there being victimized by the cartels. It's fucking, it's so Christian is what it is. I can't.
Powers cartels further. We cannot do that. We need to go back to what our current law states, which is secure the border, detain, do our job. Yes, you can have.
That's not what the law says.
So fucking vague.
So, you know, yeah,
it is. They talk in such fucking vague terms because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
And by the way, while video was playing of everybody that they showed being detained, all those people, they detained all those family units, put them on a fucking bus, took them for processing. Those 4 fucking guys, they got them in, they patted them down, they fucking cuffed them or zip tied them, put them in the fucking truck, and they detained them, and they did their fucking job.
Asylum claims, but only if you detain. That should be the rule.
Again, this is the other thing. Let's be abundantly clear. Abbott and this motherfucker, and probably Ted Cruz, want the federal government to build giant detention facilities like state prisons, because they've shut down a lot of their state prisons because of the pushback against for-profit
Greg Abbott does nothing but sitting his ass down there anyway.
I don't know that he has a choice, for the record, but the idea is that they're going to they want the federal government to build these giant processing and detainment centers for thousands of fucking people, right? So that they can take that money, outsource it internally in the state, you know, like the food service to their buddy. That's federal money going to the fucking buddy who runs a bunch of restaurants in Houston, and the fucking guard system they can give to the the Texas like detention officers. You know, they'll get a group of those guys. It's more employment for them, all on the federal tit. All like talk about living off the federal government. That's what he's talking about.
Does anybody does anybody ever discuss like what would actually happen to Texas's economy if they were to completely shut down the southern border to, you know, all the commerce that goes back and forth?
Yes,
that Texas fucking depends on.
Yes. A bunch of people, you know who? All the people around Greg Abbott when he actually did try to shut down the border for like 3 weeks. Remember that shit?
Yeah, right.
And everybody in Dallas and Houston, all the rich fuckers over like, where the fuck is my stuff? And they all, and like the oil companies, everybody was like, the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I got to get, you know, it's an election thing.
Right.
Trump's been telling me stuff, and I do what I'm told.
People should be released into the United States. That's our position.
That's ridiculous.
The Senate has a weaker position. We're going to fight it.
Yeah, well, you're going to lose.
That's the one area where you and Donald Trump agree. He's not a
the one area
fan of this, what's been out there. I am curious, if you don't mind my asking, sir, how you and the former president are getting along, whether you talk with each other, your support for Ron DeSantis sort of chafed at him, but maybe bygones are bygones. What can you tell us?
Well, first of all, let me say, it's not the one area I agree with former President Trump on. I agree with hundreds of areas with former President Trump.
Yeah. Like if you're a star, you can grab women by the pussy, and E.G. Carroll and other women are too ugly to fuck against their will.
I love the whole mass deportations things. I like that.
Yeah.
That's really up my alley.
Yeah. The fact that we should have 50 cals set up on the top of the wall so they can just shoot at people as they approach. And
and how he touts Eisenhower's deportation program from the 50s. It actually ended up deporting American fucking citizens. If you actually go back and read the legislation, read what this fucking thing actually done. And the number that they touted, the number of people that they touted that they deported, if you actually go back and look at it, they think the number is actually nowhere fucking near what they reported. Right. And it was just, they did it with military style tactics, going around, just fucking rounding people up, shipping them out of the country, like I said, American fucking citizens got rounded up in America, rounded up and fucking shipped to just the furthest region of South America you could possibly think of sometimes. You know what I mean? They just sending them as fucking far away, not even to the place they grew up, not to the place they came from, whether it's somewhat familiar where they would have a shot to find a place to live or have a family.
Why the fuck are you dropping me off in fucking Brazil just because I got a fucking accent? It's not the accent. That's not what this accent is. Where the fuck are you talking about? I've lived here for 6 years. I only keep my accent because if I call my grandmother back home, she fucking hangs up on me. Where are you fucking dropping me off in Brazil for? Get out of here. You don't sound American.
You know, he touts it like it was some sort of fucking huge success. And if you actually go back and look at the history, which I know Donald Trump doesn't, it was a fucking disaster. It was a fucking disaster. It's a stain on this country, basically.
Ever since they put Hitler's speeches on books on tape, I haven't read a thing.
I mean, a lot of different policies. I mean,
knowing Donald Trump, he's got the fucking like the Kids Bop version. You know, they have like all the rock and pop songs, but
Kids
the kids
Bop Hitler.
Like he probably has like little kids fucking reciting the Hitler speeches.
Oh yeah, he probably. I mean, there had to be like in the 30s, right? There had to be some like Aryan Nation stuff for kids that was available. Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it. Mein Kampf.
Yeah, it's got to be around
every
there
language fucking possible.
Yeah. If he had a copy of it in imbecile, he could
tax policies, his positions moving the.
Look at that nuts. Holy
Jesus
shit.
Christ!
Oh, I'm out.
I can't. Look at that. Jesus Christ, man! What the hell? We're done. That's it. We're packing in. Shit.
Embassy to Jerusalem. I could go down a laundry list. I mean, appointing justices
that really didn't matter to him as soon as you supported Ron DeSantis.
It's another angle.
Yeah, well, but that's because
that's politics. I understand.
I can't. Yeah,
I need a cigarette now.
Oh God, it's terrible. Fuck! Every time that comes on, I feel like I gotta clear my browser history.
Good Lord, what is happening with that? Is he slowly turning into a fucking turkey?
It's so it just
like I just want to go like this once. I just want to go like this.
I want to see him like smoking a cigarette through it at some point.
He could probably hold one with that fucking thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't need to hold it. You could probably just
Grandpa, do that thing where you can put a golf ball in your fucking neck.
Okay, Donald, your grandchildren are coming now. Can you put away the vagina on your neck?
Yeah, right. Can you tuck that shit in? You're why cravats were invented. Can I send you to Glenn Beck's house because he knows how to cover a fucking audible audio?
Ben Shapiro would tear that neck up.
Oh, he totally would. He'd buy that. Ben Shapiro would buy that nunt a piece of wood and put it in a plastic bag and bring it home.
How are we ending on that note?
It's exactly how we should. Ladies and gentlemen, Boston Brian is our surprise jump in afternoon guest. It's just lovely.
Sorry about that. I figured you needed somebody to talk to. I know,
all right, partner.
Andrea contacted me about this morning because you had a cancellation, and obviously with work I couldn't do it. Yeah, and I saw you kind of just chatting away. So I apologize if I hijacked any of what you had for plans on this show. I do appreciate talking.
It's okay. I only had let's see. I only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Shit.
8 videos open. I'll show you. Hold on. This was is this one? Here we go. This one? No, where is it? God damn it. It's this one. So this is
this lady.
Get clergy out of illegal immigration business. You mean like separate church and state? Real quickly, by the way, James O'Keefe, holding tyranny accountable, which when you hold tyrants accountable, how do you hold the act? A verb?
How do you hold the act accountable?
The act of tyranny. By the way, and I guess the way you start it is by looking like Barry Manilow's stunt double.
I thought that was Stephen Hawking for a second.
It's very because of the seat, because of the chair. Kudlow, of course, is sad because of the economy's doing too well. We saw that part.
I knew it. I said it too. I was like, he's probably got a bunch of shit he wants to talk about. I feel bad, but
Tom Homan's shitting on the real villains. This is Glenn Beck telling us who's really causing crime. Spoiler alert: they're brown. And then this dickhead piping in on like nobody can beat my dad. Guys.
Do you go past his paywall? Is that how you get that video? Is that
no?
Do they post?
No.
He's on
Newsmax for this one. Right. No, I'm not paying for his shit.
And the other thing he's in that setup, like that white background, like that's his paywall type of shit when he does those little things, like his trigger is free. His podcast.
As a third generation billionaire, that it's important to have a paywall for the people who want to see your shit. I gotta say, on our way out the door, and I really,
why would you not give your fans especially the people that have been around long enough? Like I have a huge problem with that. Like if you're gonna do sort of like goofy kind of shit and kind of like a meet and greet and chat about your lives and shit behind the scenes and that's what you want, fine. But if you're gonna literally give people the information, like fucking pertinent information, and actually talk about real life things and make not talk about that on the real show, but then talk about it on the second hour where you can fucking if
behind
you pay
a paywall.
$6.99.
You mean like fucking TYT? It's a dick thing to do, especially like I would say. And thank you guys, Patreon supporters. Boston Brian has a Patreon. It's Dem Boston Brian. on Patreon, right?
Patreon, patreon.com/Boston Brian. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, and mine's /Hal Sparks, and $5, $10, $20 a month or whatever, which is like $5 a week, and that's a cup of coffee a week. I mean, come on. Yeah.
Than paying, like, it's not a paywall. Like, you're not, I do Zoom meetings
and I specifically
for a lot of the groups and shit, so we can talk and you can meet and we can see face to face and,
right,
like I said, chat about your life and what's important, what's going on, and day to day things like that.
But also to just support the show so it can exist, and the whole purpose is so that it gets out there. Like the idea that you would want, if you like the programming of somebody and you like how they convey the news or the information or whatever, and then you're like, I like it, but I want to keep it from other people. It seems counterintuitive, especially if we're fighting for democracy the way we are. I think it's super fucking important. And they're saying, thank you, Boston Brian, for saving us from Glenn Beck. That's right. What's for dinner? What's for breakfast? Biden. What's for dinner? Biden. You're right. I did get a bonus tonight. That's absolutely
and mine's right. A lot. Like, I'm a lot different than a lot of the creators that have Patreons, because a lot of them, this is their gig. This is their shtick. This is what they do every day. They can put out a lot more content. They put out a bunch of videos a day. There's always something going on. I'm a full-time plumber, so I'm lucky if I can do what I'm lucky to be able to do the videos that I do between Midas Touch, TikTok. Joining you wonderful people on here. Eating, showering at some point. It's like it is a lot. So I thank the people that have signed up. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you understanding that I'm not this is not my full-time gig yet. I'm hoping that the Patreon at some point will get to a point where it makes sense for me to do this full-time, and you can see a lot more of me, and I can put out a lot more content, and I can start a show and all that stuff. So that's the goal. So anybody that has signed up, thank you, literally from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, stick with it.
It goes so far to help produce content.
And you have to build on it.
But the Midas videos and stuff.
Yeah, you got to build on it. So especially the long-term Patreons, the people that get in there and stick with you and help you build something, is incredibly important, because then you're not trading out a new person for somebody who leaves and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really like valuable that
it all started with your chat too. It all literally all started with your chat. I mean, the base of people that not only watch my YouTube and follow me on Patreon and stuff is people from not only your chat but Midas Touch, and there's a lot of crossover, because the beautiful people in the chat want to soak in as much information from people that are like-minded, from people that want to see people have the health care they deserve, to want to see people get off the street and be in a house and have food on the table and water and shirts on their bed, that type of stuff. So I know a lot of you are all over the place on these things, and I know you can't support everybody. So if I'm, or Hal is the person that gives you the most bang for your buck, stick with it. If it's Al, if it's somebody else, then go for it. You know what I mean? Go strong.
That's right.
If you can't, do all the free stuff, like, share, subscribe. That is more than enough comments on the videos. That is more than enough support for me. So I do appreciate it.
Totally is. And it helps lift that stuff up, and it's something you can do for free and all that kind of stuff. So I greatly appreciate it. And thanks for coming on, man. I love this.
Thank you, Hal.
I wish I look forward to at some point us doing this in person. I'll make my way out. You've been out here. I'm going to make my way to Boston at some point. Please come to Boston.
Well, you said you go to DC sometimes. Did you say?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So maybe we could do like a meet in the middle type thing where you don't have to go the whole way.
I think that's a great idea. Us doing a live from fucking Washington D.C. would be fantastic, and I'm sure there are some pivotal times when that will work out. We'll see if we can make it.
It was a pleasure to get to see you, and I did. But like I said, you were busy. You had a lot on your mind and shit going. And I am so appreciative of the time you took out before your show to sit down and have a meal with my girlfriend and I.
Yeah,
that was honestly wonderful of you. I know you had a lot going on, but to have time to literally sit down and have a real chat and get to know you more than just on the screen. I mean, just doing what we're doing. I know you're a great guy, and I know we'd get along really well.
Yes. So I agree.
And I also sent you a video from TYT. I know you just mentioned TYT.
Right.
Of Jenk getting into a heated battle with one of his co-hosts. I don't know if that's what you were referencing on your early show today, because I know you were kind of referencing Jenk a lot on your early show.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was.
But like he was screaming and yelling in this one, so it kind of like went along with what you were talking about. I sent it to you on your. I texted it to you.
Yeah, so, he's just being like awful with everybody because awful sells. I swear to God.
Like even the faces that he makes and like the responses, like he's such a child. Like when the other guy's fucking talking, he's like
dismissive.
Yeah, it's like just fucking relax, dude. Let him get his fucking point out. If you got something to combat it with, combat it. Don't sit there like a fucking 6-year-old, like spitting and fucking rolling your eyes.
This is, by the way, this has gotten worse while he's running for president. Have you noticed that? Like that's the thing that came out the most since he started.
Still running?
Well, I mean, he's still taking donations. We'll see if he ends up going to jail for it. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's got to be some sort of fucking
illegal.
When you know you're not winning, right?
Yeah. Well, and also, you can't run. It's not because
you're not a United States citizen.
Yeah, he's not a natural born citizen.
But he thinks he has some argument against that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it, but he's sure in his head that he has like the fucking like the ace of spades on that one, where it's like
Dude,
the Trump.
If a natural born American under the age of 35 can't run in this fucking day and age, fuck off. Like never happened. But anyways, we'll talk about that at another time. I have no doubt. But I'm going to sign off and let everybody go because I got to prep for the radio show tomorrow. So thanks so much for being with me, brother. Yep. Appreciate it. Again, follow Boston Brian on all of his socials. You'll be able to find them. You're adults. I don't have to tell you where to go. And of course, we'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks so much. Cheers, brother. Take care of yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, there he goes. Boston Brian, the man, the myth, the hat. He had 2 hats on. So did I. I think we were even in hats this evening, which good for us. We made it. By the way, like the stream, comment, all that kind of fun stuff. We kind of went through it. So I will leave you with the kidney. How you like them apples?